Today I'm going to show you how I build consistency so that you can too. My name is Sean, I'm a mental health coach, and I have built consistency in my own life. So for instance, this is an example of my workout history for the past 7 or so months. And as you can see, I've built quite a bit of consistency. I can work out on a pretty consistent basis. And so today I'm going to show you how I've done that, some of the ideas that I think about when it comes to building consistency, and we're going to break that down into 3 parts. The first part is we're going to talk about how consistency is actually not an action that you can take. The second is that we're going to talk about how motivation is not a general thing. And the final thing that we'll talk about is how important environment is when it comes to consistency. So, let's start with this idea that consistency is not an action that you can take. It is something that happens from taking a particular action over and over and over again. So what I mean by this is, like, if I decide to work out today and then I work out tomorrow and then I work out the next day, then people look at me and they say, oh, that guy is consistent. But if I just say, I'm going to be consistent now, it doesn't do anything. There's no action taken. So instead of what I see people focus on all the time is they say, I really want to be consistent. I really want to be consistent. I want to build consistency in my life. And rather than trying to build consistency in your life, right? Rather than trying to focus on consistency, I think that what yields far better outcomes is to focus on what it is that you want or need to do and what is blocking you from doing it. And by doing that day after day after day, then what ends up happening is that you end up being consistent as a byproduct. It is an emergent property. It is a symptom, not a cause. The second thing is that motivation to be consistent is not a general thing. So a lot of people, a lot of clients that I work with come to me and they say, Sean, I just want to be more motivated. And you can't really be more motivated in general. So for instance, I grew up in theater, and in theater, motivation is a hugely important concept. You always have to know your motivation as a character for every moment of what it is that you're doing. So if you were to just apply some broad general motivation to your character as an actor, you would actually put on a very poor performance because you would always be sort of signaling the same exact thing that doesn't necessarily match with what it is that you're trying to do. So instead, if you focus on, okay, in this moment, this is the thing that I want to do. Why do I want to do that? That's what motivation is. And once you find out what that motivation is, there's another really important piece of this, which is that so many people's why are driven by societal expectations or shoulds. I should go to college. I should wash the dishes. I should have this particular job. I should clean my house. But those are not actually powerful motivators at all because it's not internal to you. You don't really care about it. You just are afraid of other people judging you. And sometimes, if the judgment is bad enough, it can get you to do it, but it's sort of a constant fight. And so instead, what I work with my clients on is figuring out what their motivation is for a particular action that is actually motivating to them. So for instance, if somebody really wants to clean their house, so I do this personally. So when I clean my house, I don't think about it as, oh, I have chores around the house that I have to do. I think about it as, I spend the majority of time in this house, and therefore I want it to be a place that I really love and enjoy. And I want to take care of it because it takes care of me. It does a lot for me. And that is such a transformational shift for me personally that, washing the toilet or washing the dishes or whatever it is, doing the laundry becomes something like the analogy that I used when I was talking to someone recently is, it's more like washing a loved one rather than, cleaning a dirty toilet, which doesn't feel good at all. There's so much more reverence and enjoyment in the process. The final thing that I want to talk about is environment. So there's this common idea in psychology that you cannot heal while you are being actively traumatized, right? That just sort of intuitively makes sense. if you are in a war zone and are having to deal with everything that is going on, it is very hard to heal during that time. And so similarly, I think that the same thing applies when it comes to consistency, where if you are trying to be consistent, your environment plays a huge role, because if you are trying to do something in an environment that you hate, so for instance, if you hate the gym that you're going to, and you are trying to consistently go to the gym, every time you go to the gym, not only do you have to sort of overcome the barrier of, oh, like it's gonna be so hard, I'm gonna sweat so much, I'm gonna have to shower after. Not only are you gonna have to overcome all of that, but then on top of that, you also have to overcome the fact that you have to go to this like gross, stinky place that you don't really like. And so by changing the environment to something that you actually really enjoy, so for instance, finding a different gym, maybe working out from home, putting, a lot of effort into making the place that you work out at home a really cool, exciting, beautiful, whatever descriptor works best for you place, it can really make a huge difference. So, in conclusion, all of this stuff requires introspection. Whether you are working on consistency being, something that you do, the sort of the day to day of the specific consistency, rather than consistency as like, I just want to be more consistent. It's like, no, I want to do this action over and over and over again, and thereby accomplish consistency. Whether it's that motivation is not, this general thing, you have to think about the specific why of why am I doing this thing specifically, or if it's that, how do I feel about this environment? How can I make this environment more beautiful for myself? All of these things require introspection. And so by focusing on taking the time to look inward when you are struggling with something, taking the time to say, okay, I don't feel like doing this. What is making me feel that way? Or I'm having trouble, I do feel like doing this and I'm having trouble doing it consistently. What is it that is making that the case? It will really help to build consistency in your life. If you want help building consistency in your life, I'm starting up a community where we focus on building consistency, showing up for people, accountability, and learning how to help others. If you want to see if you're a good fit, there is a link down in the description where you can take a quick quiz to just answer a few questions and see if the community is right for you. And finally, a big part of what we talked about today is sort of finding your why, right? Finding why you want to do the thing. And so if you want help finding your why, your sort of overarching why that helps drive you forward in your life, this video goes over the process that I use to do that. I hope that this video has been helpful for you, and I'll see you next time. Bye!